Hello. It's great to have you here to learn more about the ACMS system. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to transfer members to a church or location that does not yet use the system. Since ACMS is not available in every country, there is a specific feature that allows you to send and receive transfers from places where the system is not yet active. To begin, go to the member menu and click on Transfer. On this screen, you can view all ongoing transfers, both those being sent and those being received, and monitor the status of each one. Let's suppose you want to receive a member from a church that does not use ACMS. Click on the Start New Transfer button to start the process. The first step is to search for the member's name. The fewer details you enter, the longer the list of results will be. Usually, typing only the member's name is enough. In some countries, for privacy reasons, you will also need to enter the date of birth to perform the search. If no results are displayed, it's likely that the member belongs to a country outside the ACMS system. In that case, click Help with finding the member. Then, select the country of the originating church. The system will automatically indicate whether that country uses ACMS or not. If the country does not yet use the system, click Continue to proceed. Now you'll need to fill in the information about the church that does not use ACMS, such as the city, church name, address, and the email of the secretary or pastor in charge. It's very important that the email address is correct, as all communication about the transfer will be sent through it. After entering this information, search for the member's name again. If the member is still not found, click Not Found and complete the registration form with the required details. When finished, click Include and then start Transfer to begin the process. On the transfer screen, the member will appear with a status non-ACMS, indicating that the process involves a church that does not use the system. Once the transfer is initiated, the next step is to communicate with the external church. To do this, click Communicate with Churches without ACMS. On this screen, you'll see a list of all external churches that currently have ongoing transfers with your church. You can communicate with them in two ways: by sending an email directly through ACMS or by printing a letter for manual delivery. The most practical option is to send an email. Check that the address is correct and click Send by email. Before sending, select the language of the message. If you're unsure which language to choose, use English. ACMS will automatically send an email containing all the necessary information for the external church to process the transfer. At this point, the external church will be responsible for the next step. They will receive an email notifying them of the transfer with a link to access the details and proceed with the sending process. For security reasons, the system will require an authentication code to ensure that only the intended recipient of the email can access the content. After authentication, the church will be able to approve or reject the transfer. If approved, they must provide the date and vote of transfer, as well as the name of the person who recorded the process. Once the external church completes the transfer, you'll be notified by ACMS. Returning to the transfer screen, you'll see the Accept button. Click this button, enter the date and the vote of reception, then confirm by clicking Accept. The process will be completed, and the member will now appear in your church's member list. In the previous example, we saw how to receive a member from a country that does not use ACMS. Now, let's look at the opposite process: how to send a member from your church to a congregation that still doesn't use the system. The procedure is very similar. To begin, click the Send to Location without ACMS button. Then, select the country to which you wish to send the member. The system will automatically indicate whether that country uses ACMS or not. If the country is not yet using it, Click Continue and fill in the external church's information: city, church name, address, and the email of the secretary or pastor in charge. Next, search for the member you want to send, select them, and start the transfer. When your church meets and votes to send the member, record the date and the vote in the system. From this point on, only the receiving church's vote will be pending. If the other church has already provided this vote, click External Vote and fill in the fields with the date and result they reported. If the vote has not yet been recorded, use the same communication options mentioned earlier, sending an email directly through the system or printing a letter. The external church will receive a message with all the necessary instructions to register the vote of reception. Once this information is entered, you'll be notified by email and the process will be automatically completed. After completion, the member will appear as inactive on your church's list, indicating that they have been transferred to another location. This way, ACMS allows you to send or receive members from churches that do not yet use the system, keeping transfer records organized, simple, and secure.